Hello and welcome to Noble Stag Hobbies. My name is John and I am brand new to the hobby of miniature painting. Before we get into the video today, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everyone for the kind comments welcoming me into the hobby and to sharing my journey with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your kind words and well wishes so far. It's some of those kind comments that have led to today's video being produced. And this is a guide for the paint scheme I used for my Uruk Hai that I showed in the first video. Now, this is by no means a painting tutorial or anything like that. Think of it more as a recipe, because I'm definitely not on the level yet to be teaching people anything. This is just simply a guide to what I did and how I made them look the way that they do. Now, for some reason, I didn't take pictures of every step of the journey or every stage of the process, and I don't know why that's the case. I can't explain it, it's just what happened. I wasn't really intending or planning to make a video of it, and I was just kind of snapping things as I went, more as a reminder to myself than anything else. So yeah, I don't have pictures of every stage. So some of the images that you'll see will be incorporating 2 or 3 steps or stages along the way in one photo, which is a little bit awkward, but it's the way it is, unfortunately. But anyway, all that aside, let's get into it and let's see how I produced this unit of Uruk Hai scouts. So the first step after removing them from the sprue, putting them together, these were single piece minis, so it was quite easy. Literally just pop the slot into the base and there we go. The first step was to then prime them, which I used an Autotech grey primer from a rattle can, just a nice flat grey. I did leave one of them unprimed just as an experiment really for myself to see how differently it painted up compared to the ones that were primed, and there was slight differences in terms of coverage and ease of painting, ease of seeing the detail as well, things like that, which were quite interesting. But in the end, it's not really very noticeable, I don't think. But yeah, nice thing to find out for myself. And we'll see how it ages over time as well. But then we were on to base coating. I started off with the skin, kind of the lowest point, which was painted with Vallejo model color mahogany. And that was just a couple of coats across all of the skin areas on all of the models. I then moved on to the leather, or at least some of the leather, which was Citadel Rhinox hide they got coated with. Moving on to some of the kind of straps and other armor layers on boots and strapping, things like that. And also the wooden parts, so the hafts of the arrows, the bows, things like that. These were all painted with Abaddon Black. Moving back to other layers of armor, we came in with the Vallejo model color leather brown, which seems appropriate, kind of a more reddish brown. It's fairly similar to the Rhinox hide, I suppose, but just a slightly different shade. And then we came on to the metals. All of the metals were done with lead belcher. Nice and simple, uniform, mass-produced armor look that the Uruk Hai have, everything kind of made from the same stuff. So lead belcher across everything. The final kind of bit of detail work that I did was to add some Vallejo buff to the teeth. Done some of the models that had open mouths and visible teeth. And then they all got 2 heavy layers of Nuln Oil as a wash to kind of dull them all down and make them look a bit dank and a bit dirty. And then finished off with some Reikland Flesh Shade as well, just to give more of that kind of brown hue that you kind of associate with the Uruk Hai. On to basing to kind of finish them off. I didn't do any highlighting on these guys whatsoever, so we just went straight to basing, and the bases were given a coat of Stirling Mud first and foremost. I then gave a fairly heavy dry brush of Steel Legion Drab, and then a lighter one of Vallejo model color light brown, just to give a variety of kind of earthy tones. And then they got a wash with Agrax Earthshade, just to kind of blend that out a little bit more, dull it down. And the edges of the bases were given a couple of coats of Steel Legion Drab as well, just to finish them off. Basing material that was then added was leaf litter from Green Stuff World, and some Mordian Corpse Grass from the Citadel range as well, just for a few tufts, and to give, slightly different appearance, but still to look like they were running through the forest, kind of as the ambush at Amon Hen kind of scene, and had kind of kept that in mind for these guys. So kind of more of a foresty look with that leaf litter. And that was about the height of it. I made one slight tweak for painting Lurtz and Ugluk, the commanders. I primed these two with Rust-Oleum red-brown primer, again from the rattle can, just to see what the differences were, and again they're subtle, I would say, but definitely made it a bit easier for painting the hair, which was 3 parts to 1 mixture of Rhinox hide and Vallejo model colour black over the top of the 2 washes of Null Oil, which left it looking streaky and too red in the commander's instance and too grey in everybody else's. So I mixed up a very, very dark brown and put that on instead, and I think that's looked a lot better. In terms of brushes, I used one brush for the whole lot, which is the Citadel starter set beginner brush. That was perfectly capable of doing all the things I needed it to do for these guys. Like I said, there's not a lot of detail in there. I didn't attempt to do any highlighting because I want them to look a bit dull, a bit dirty. It was absolutely fine for all of that. The only other brush I did use was a cheap makeup brush for the dry brushing on the bases. That was it. Everything else was done with the Citadel starter brush. So there we are. That's how they all came together. I hope you've enjoyed kind of looking through my process, seeing it develop, and hopefully it's maybe even given you a little bit of inspiration as well. So if you've managed to take anything useful or informative, or as I say, maybe even a hint of inspiration from this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would really, really help me, really help the channel to grow and kind of spread the word of Noble Stag Hobbies and of a new hobby painter kind of putting stuff out into the world from a beginner's perspective, rather than kind of seeing expert level painters do their thing. I've had a few comments saying that it's nice to have things from this kind of new person's perspective. So if you'd like to help me grow, please subscribe to the channel and share it with anyone who you think might well be interested. If you really want to support the channel, Noble Stag Hobbies is now on Patreon. The link is in the description down below. And I also have a very, very cheeky Amazon wish list down there as well. It's mostly stuff to help improve the production quality of the channel. But if that's not for you, I don't blame you. There's no pressure at all. But there is also the Instagram as well, if you would like to follow along with what I'm up to there. But that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. This is Noble Stag Hobbies. I am Jon, and I will talk to you again very soon. Cheers.